defeat to Southampton left some Swansea City fans in tears on Tuesday night as the prospect of relegation from the Premier League moved closer to becoming a devastating reality. Manolo Gabbiadini's deflected close-range effort sparked delirious Southampton celebrations, and left the Liberty Stadium stunned as their side fell 3 points from safety. Swansea will need help from results elsewhere to have any hope, but there were not many reasons to be hopeful after yet another defeat without a goal. Hughes beats Carvalhal to the punch. Mark Hughes has taken no shortage of criticism this season, and many were prepared to enjoy some schadenfreude at his expense with the prospect of Stoke and Southampton, the two teams he has managed this term, heading for the drop. But, like him or loathe him, he got the better of Carlos Carvalhal in his key substitutions. The game goalless as the hour mark came and went. Both teams readied strikers as Shane Long and Tammy Abraham went on within 90 seconds of each other. Hughes knew his next move would be to send on Manolo Gabbiadini, and he did not hesitate to make that adjustment once Jan Bednarek was left on the floor by a punch from keeper Alex McCarthy, even though he had been planning to wait a few more minutes. Southampton boss Mark Hughes celebrates after beating Swansea City. Image, Getty Images Europe. By the time the poll was heading off, Gabbiadini was already on, and Saints had 4 forwards on the field, almost playing in a 4-2-4. 5 minutes later and the Italian had scored the winner. It was only at that stage that Carvalhal opted to send on Luciano Narsing, with his side trailing and needing something. In a game both sides needed to win, Hughes was more assertive and got his reward. But, it should also be pointed out, in bringing Long and Gabbiadini on he had men with a combined tally of 56 Premier League goals between them. Carvalhal's entire bench had exactly half that tally. Indeed, his starting front two had only 36 between them, which brings us to squad quality and depth. But the Welshman held all the aces because a glance over the team sheets before kickoff told its own story. Looking at names like Nathan Redmond, Dusan Tadic, Charlie Austin, Oriol Romeu and Ryan Bertrand, you couldn't help but think that on paper, although some of those players have struggled for form and injuries this campaign, the visitors had more weapons at their disposal. This despite a season where they have also been in the midst of a relegation scrap. Indeed, inconsistent as he can be, Swansea would have loved to have had a creative talent like Tadic to call upon. Such has been their lack of guile and creativity. If the worst comes to pass, Carvalhal and his players will have to take their share of the blame, as will former boss Paul Clement, but plenty of responsibility will rightly fall on those within the club hierarchy and recruitment team who assembled this squad. Areas where Swansea were once so admired. Swansea got away by the skin of their teeth last season, but ended last summer with a weaker squad. Without a replacement for Gylfi Sigurdsson, without any depth at fullback, and with risky acquisitions that have not come near to paying off elsewhere. Numerous factors fed into this, and no one would suggest that any club has a 100% success rate on the transfer front, but there have been far more misses than hits over the last 3 to 4 years. The warning signs had been there, and they were not addressed, and, to use the parlance of another sport, Swansea now needs snookers to remain a Premier League club. Carvalhal's shift in mood. Swansea City boss Carlos Carvalhal and striker Tammy Abraham. Image, Tom Martin, Wales News Service. Throughout this winless streak, which now looks like it could prove so costly, Carvalhal had insisted he felt no need to be genuinely concerned about Swansea's situation because it was in their own hands. Now, with the situation very much out of their hands, his mood and demeanor as he faced the media suggested that concern has finally hit home somewhat belatedly. The smile we have become used to was gone, there were no colorful analogies, and his voice appeared to grow quieter the longer he had to face questions. for a man who has been almost relentless in his positivity, even when it has not felt aligned with the overarching mood. It felt incongruous to see him so downbeat. Yet Swansea will still be alive in some way, shape or form come 3 p.m. Sunday, and, no matter how unlikely the mathematics may appear, he will need to try and lift his players for one last effort. Can he find the answers to snap this winless run and ensure Swansea do their part, to ask the question of whether others can do theirs? Long ball Swansea. When Swansea City came up into the Premier League, they were lauded for their pleasing brand of passing football. It had been nurtured over a number of years and adapted as a succession of managers took those methods on. Those heady days feel an awfully long way away right now, and, to be perfectly honest, it has been a while since we have seen Swansea play anything approaching that brand of football. Even so, some of the sights seen at Bournemouth on the weekend and again here underlined just how much the on-field style of that Swansea identity has simply eroded to a stage where it no longer exists. At Bournemouth, Łukasz Fabianski launched numerous punts downfield in search of the Ayew brothers and Nathan Dyer, playing directly from back to front. Against Southampton, Swansea pumped ball after ball into the channels for the Ayews to chase or try and win in the air. From wide areas, aimless cross after aimless cross was launched into the box. Swansea were direct under Paul Clement last season, but he had a dead ball specialist in Jiffy Sigurdsson and a target man in Fernando Llorente to call upon. Such methods seemed to fly in the face of the personnel Swansea have available to them now, yet they lack the accuracy to play with any greater intricacy. Such football would once have been considered heresy in SA1, that it has become the norm tells its own story. Andrew Ayew is tackled by Southampton players Wesley Hood and Jan Bednarek. Image, Tom Martin. Wales News Service. No goals, no chance. However, the other midweek fixtures shake out. Swansea City are going to need to beat Stoke on Sunday to have any chance of survival. The trouble is, given their current goal drought, it is hard to say with any certainty that they would be able to keep up their end of the bargain should fortune fall their way. Swansea have scored just twice in over 15 hours of football. One of those came from a set piece, the other from a miscued volley which fell to Jordan Ayew. Carvalhal insisted his side had created numerous chances against Southampton, but, aside from Alex McCarthy tipping over a Jordan Ayew shot and last-ditch tackles denying Andre Ayew, it was hard to instantly recall many off the top of your head. 27 goals from 37 games is a meager total. Even the woeful Derby side who were relegated in 2008 with just 11 points managed 20. And there can be no doubt that this is where Swansea's main problem has been. Their defensive record for goals conceded is the 10th best in the top flight this season, despite 2 5-0 hammerings and 2 4-0 defeats. Their goals scored tally is joint lowest with Huddersfield. It would just about sum up this season if Swansea were to be in a position to survive but couldn't find the goal to seal the deal.